and the goods and services has not also translated. It's so difficult for Ghanaians to actually bring down prices. They're very happy to raise prices, but when it comes to bringing down prices, it's rather very difficult. So far, government has done well. I'm not very sure about the lending rates. I saw lending rates still quite high, 23%, 24%, 31 or so, at least in Stambik. And I think that we should get lower interest rates for businesses to be able to strive. The fact that we had 8 years of stagnant growth somehow in the business community, it means that if we want businesses to strive now, the interest rates for borrowing and stuff must go down. So far, I would say that the fundamentals are not looking bad at all. And if I can see that the government has put some emphasis on agriculture, that should be able to at least curb some few nuances that we used to have: shortage of food, expensive cereals, and those kinds of things, grains especially. There was a time Kinky was almost getting to 7 cedis. Even though some people are still charging 5 cedis, it's quite a sizable one. So far, I think that we're good. And then we look at fuels, where we are buying cheaper fuel, and cheaper fuel should actually translate to cheaper food, because it's always, how do we get it from the rural area, to the markets? And people always said, oh, Kasikano, but now the fuel is cheap, so we should get cheaper food, but we are not. But others who will tell you it's because of the seasonal nature of our foodstuffs. Because at this time, plantains are expensive.
But I always buy mine from Western North, so it's cheaper.
Exactly. The Western region especially has a lot of plantain. That is true. But apart from that, and then yams are not in season. I mean, it's so amazing that my driver just came from the north, and he was telling me, saying, "Mami, there was no yam." Places that you'd normally find lots of yam. It's not surprising, because suddenly we are exporting more tubers.
I think, well, I used to buy mine from Dambai, so and it's cheaper in Dambai.
It's cheaper if you're coming from.
When I was campaigning, I used to buy a lot to fill the
car and bring it up. That's because you're on the road, and but when you look at,
I bought it fresh from the farm.
As you drive through from here to the north, you find them along the roads and stuff, and we buy them. But now it's no longer there. And at this time, sometimes you have fresh yams meeting old yams, but it's not. The story is not the same anymore. It's not just for now. It's been going on for quite a while. It's been going on for quite a while. But
let's look at specifics. I know that, yes, generally, if you take the economy, the symbiosis, or rather the symbiotic relationship between the finance ministry and then that of the Bank of Ghana has been very good. And so you're looking at fiscal discipline and then macro economic outlook, right? So there's that good relationship, and people are saying that it is that relationship that has given birth to the kind of stability we're experiencing now. But let's move beyond that. What it means is that if your fiscal policies translates sometimes to expenditure management and control. So if you are not expending, that could also sort of cushion the economy because you are not spending. Now, the fear is that once we begin to invest, whether in capital investment or whatever it is, the currency may suffer, because right now we are not spending at all. So have you looked at that? Have we built, really, from what you said, have we built the economy on some strong stills to weather any storm?
Okay, I'm just looking at the situation where if we're looking at how far we've come with our gold now to cushion our currency, at least that is a plus. And then I'm looking at, people keep saying we are not spending. There was no money left over for us to spend. So I think that they're being very prudent and very strategic where they are spending. I listened to the Agric Minister. It seems that the army has gotten itself involved in farming, agriculture, and their main focus is to at least take off the debts that we owe ECOWAS, which is laudable. And then I'm looking at a situation where I think that the whole agri thing, because if we import less of the things like the staples, our rice, tin tomatoes, onions, if we can encourage more agricultural-based projects, then maybe this whole idea of when they start spending, you know, maybe it will affect our currency. It will not affect it in such a way as it would if we didn't put in any, you know, sort of stopgaps. One, we import a lot of onions. So if we are going to be planting onions, by all means, it will take off some of the weight. We import a lot of tomatoes from the neighboring countries. We import a lot of oils. So if we can do all these things, if we can get more groundnut oil coming in, more coconut oil coming in, I think we should be able to help ourselves. And then also, I see that government has put a lot of emphasis on traditional medicine as well and other things. So if we look at the pharmaceutical industry, that's the health sector, if we can get cheaper drugs being produced by ourselves instead of the imported ones that will always come out looking for foreign exchange, maybe we can help ourselves there. So I am so convinced that even when they start to spend, we might not go down so deep. I don't think so. I don't think we'll get to the 16 and 17. Maybe we'll get up to about maybe 14, which will still be better than the 16.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Having said that, well, let me remind viewers that we're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube. So for those of you who may want to share your views with us, you can do so via those platforms.
Yeah.
Do
you realize that we do a lot of importations that are not really necessary? Look at the rag trade.
I was going to come to that. You know, that the perhaps, you know, our inability to stabilize our currency and by extension the economy in general is by reason of the excessive importation that we do.
Importation of I call them useless things.
Yeah, because then you have to change your cedis into dollars and then use that to go
and buy toothpicks that can be produced here.
Yeah.
You know, and
but also is that not born out of the disconnect between industry and trade?
Yes, you can look at it that way as well, and I think also. But
what is our trade policy? So maybe because I really, as we sit, I don't know that. I don't know our trade policy.
I'm not really well versed with these technicalities when it comes to financial analysis and stuff. But in my layman's point of view, if I were to advise government, there are certain things that I would place bigger taxes on. For instance, I'll place a lot of taxes on hair.
Yeah.
Artificial hair that's coming to this country. All the unnecessary cosmetics. You know, that is a big business, which actually thrives on the foreign exchange. But do we really need it? If we don't have it, we will not. You know? We will then go back to our roots. We'll start braiding our hair, we'll start, you know, that kind of, our naturals, and those are things that we should be able to help ourselves. Then you look at the stuff that we bring all the way from Togo, from China, rags. I call them rags. You understand? You wear today, tomorrow, it's gone. You wash it after one wash, it's gone. But we're using foreign exchange to buy these things. So I'm of the view that we should sit down as a country and decide what we really want to import. Look, if you visit supermarkets and you see the amount of things that they threw away because it's expired, but we use dollars to import them. And we do not, the majority of Ghanaians do not eat those things. But they are forced to bring them. The importers bring them because they get them cheap, maybe 6 months to expiry, they go and buy them, it's cheap. And they come here wanting to sell. Ghanaians are not patronizing. We've become, when it comes to food, we are becoming more localized. You know, we like the local stuff. So if you're, and when you look at people coming in, We used to think that when you import all those sausages and blah, 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 you take it to hotels, people are coming. But when they come to our hotels now, they are looking for gobe, banku and tilapia.
It's true.
Those kinds of things.
Wache.
So let's start putting a lot of taxes on these importations. Unnecessary stuff that we bring into this country. Let's put some more taxes and duties on them so that we discourage people from even bringing them in. And then they would have to go in there and look for the local substitutes.
Well, with Diana giving us economics 101.
My economics. I'm not you.
Economics 101.
I am not the
economic whiskit.
Yes, an economic whiskit. I'm only using my common sense.
Dr. Sylvie.
Yes, sir.
This is unpardonable.
Yes, but you have to pardon me.
No.
Today I have been in a very serious traffic, my brother.
Traffic.
As at 7:30 something, I was at Westland. From Westland stretch to the runabout at the N1. Look at the time. Very, very crazy.
Where do you live?